say one word, I say amazing. You say one word, I say amazing. Yeah.
Welcome, everyone. I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty worn out. I was up all night gathering information and all that, just for you guys. You know, this is what I do. But anyways, how is everyone doing? I'm alright. Like I said, I'm a bit tired because I was up all night. Basically trying to gather some information on this topic. And yeah. Had some tea earlier. But that's about it. Let's see who's all in here. We got Loyal Tangi saying, let's go. Yeah, let's go. Howdy. Shared. Thanks for sharing it, brother. Thanks for sharing it, man. Appreciate it. Anyway, so what are we talking about today? La Sagrada. Right? It's a building. But who built it? You know? What was it for? Is it one of the buildings that Christ said, you know, these stones will not stand upon another? It will come down? Well, let's find out together. For the past 100 years, they've been trying to rebuild this thing, you know? But for what? Is it because of its beauty? You know? I mean, that's very subjective, right? To say it's beautiful. I mean, because one can say that and then someone else can say, nah, looks weird. Looks kind of creepy. But anyways, I'm afraid if I play this clip here, they might either terminate my stream or give me a copyright flag. Small echo, but not bad. Uh-oh. Really? Yeah, that's not good. 1 second. What about now? Oh man, that's not good. Let me just double check something. Very strange. Anyway, I was gonna play this video, but I feel like it's gonna give me a copyright because this person has like 3.6 million subscribers. So maybe I'll just mute it and play it. But anyway, this is Barcelona. This is where the La Sagrada Familia is. These buildings here are surrounding it. And it's quite odd, right? It's almost like Pleasantville. You look at the buildings, they're like very identical, you know? But yeah, it's been 100 years and it still hasn't been built. Well, fully built. Strange. And it is said that the person who built this go to Sagrada Familia. This is the Wikipedia, and it's got some interesting stuff if you discern. But see, this is what it looks like from up top. You know, from sky view. With those buildings surrounding it, and then you got the Sagrada right there on the bottom left. It's, if you ask me, it's, in my opinion, it's an energy center. Some kind of energy center. But this is what Wikipedia says about it. And if you hover over these listings, you'll see a whole bunch of interesting findings. Francisco de Paula del Villar, he was the one that constructed this building, it is said. We'll be doing some more discussion on this man. I believe he was killed. I might be the first one who says that, but it's just my assumption, because as we further look into this, you'd probably agree. So in 1882, like I said, Francisco de Paula de Villar constructed this. There was a groundbreaking in 1882. And it is said here, the original design from the project for the Sagrada Familia by diocese architect Francisco de Paula del Villar, following the prevailing guidelines of the time, with neo-Gothic elements. Ogival windows, buttresses, flying buttresses, and a pointed bell tower. Technical differences about the cost materials led this architect to be replaced with another who was starting to stand out in the field, Antoni Gaudí, who took the project in a different direction, transforming it into an ambitious proposal for the church of the future. It's funny when they do that, right? when someone else comes in. So someone comes originally and does the groundbreaking, or invents something, and then not too far from that, someone else comes in after that person's death. Someone else comes in and runs the show and takes it to a totally different direction, transforming it into an ambitious proposal for the church of the future. Keep in mind, they just love to say church, but this was a church. It is also said that Antoni Gaudí was a Christian, a professing Christian at that. And it is said that he was so passionate about his work. See, on March 19th, Bishop, how do you say that? Equinawana, I don't know how to say that, lays the cornerstones of the temple. Antoni Gaudí takes over the project while still working on other buildings. In 1883, 1885, Chapel of St. Joseph integrated in the crypt and the first Mass is held. 1891, work begins on the Nativity facade. 1914, Antoni Gaudí begins working exclusively on the temple until his death. St. Barnabas bell tower on the Nativity facade is completed in 1925. The bell tower dedicated to the Apostle Barnabas was the only one Gaudí would see finished. In 1936, La Sagrada Familia is vandalized during the Spanish Civil War. So you'll see all these timelines, and I will put this link in the description below. You hear all this stuff about Antoni Gaudí. They give him so much praise. They even, threw him a celebration. I believe it was last year, or 2020, was it? But they say he's a genius, the life of a genius. Antoni was a Catalan architect who has become internationally recognized as one of the most prodigious experts in his discipline, as well as one of the top exponents of modernism. His exceptional groundbreaking genius made him the inventor of a unique, personal, and incomparable architectural language that defies classification. Here it talks about his childhood, and keep in mind, they don't say much about Francisco. They don't say much about him. If anything, it's all about Antoni Gaudí. All right, and this is the guy they say who is a professing Christian. He was so passionate about Jesus Christ and just being a Christian, But funny enough, I found something here, and it says some of his biographers argue that Antonio Gaudí was a Mason, and that some of his works as La Sagrada Familia and the Park Güell contain multiple symbols of Freemasonry. The writer Joseph Maria discusses in his book details of Masonic roots and rejects the argument that there is lack of evidence to suggest that Antonio Gaudí was part of a secret organization related to Masonry. But it's not only Corindel that portrays Gaudí with a light other than Catholics. The very first person to suggest that Antonio Gaudí was a Freemason was Juan Lark in his book, Gaudí Magical Biography. So you see, there are quite a few people here calling Antoni Gaudí a practicing Mason, Freemason. And then you'll get the majority of the narrative saying that he was not. Folks, in my opinion, I'm going to go with my gut. And I believe they killed Francisco for some reason. Maybe it was the opposite. Maybe it was the other way around because they like to invert things. I feel like Francisco, this guy here, was a professing Christian. Because if you read about him, a little bit about him, it says here in 1854 he designed a series of hospitals to take care of the sick from the cholera epidemic. He was a librarian of the Provincial Academy of Fine Arts. But keep in mind, most of these things in Wikipedia, you have to discern and do more research and connect the dots, because not everything Wikipedia says is accurate. Because they are the mainstream search guide when it comes to buildings or individuals, celebrities, famous people, whatever, politics. Wikipedia is going to be the one that the majority of the people go to, and because of that, they have to infiltrate, their own narratives. So it's like I always say, you have to truly discern what they say. And in my opinion, this guy Francisco was quite possibly the actual professing Christian, the one who was not a Freemason, because I tried doing research on this guy. There's barely anything. Unless you guys could find something for me, feel free to share it with me through Discord or email. Either way, doesn't matter. But yeah, like I said, I feel like they murdered this guy and then brought in Antoni Gaudí, this dude right here, and gave him all the glory. They love to do this with big projects, like Tesla. When people feel like, oh, who invented energy, or who discovered how to control it or whatever, manipulate it, they put Tesla there. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was someone before that. And if not, Tesla was just there to be a face. That's it. And in my opinion, this guy here, Mr. Antoni Gaudí, was a Freemason. It's not hard for me to believe that. And he took all the credit for, Francisco. This guy right here. Another question I have is the building itself, right? So when you look at the building, my first initial thought is Gothic. Looks very Gothic. And according to my research, Gothic is labeled to be dark. Gothic has been labeled to be very dark, and they give it that name because most of these buildings were constructed in the so-called Dark Ages. And don't get me wrong, this building does look, in my opinion, creepy. There's a sort of eerie feeling to this. And then you'll have all these facades with, if you look at closely, you'll have the front of the building, you have these statues that have been placed upon this building years after. And it's a bunch of Christian art, okay? So, it's sort of making us believe that, oh yeah, this was indeed a Christian building. This was a cathedral, a church, you know? Let's go inside the building real quick. But see, you got all these buildings surrounding it, and they always have it renovating. Like, they always have construction going on nonstop. It's been over 100 years, and they're still trying to do whatever it is that they're trying to do with this building. The fact that you got all these homes and buildings surrounding it, it's not hard for me to believe that this was an energy center. This was one of the energy plants. Have you ever played those games? They're like strategy games on PC, and it's called Warcraft. And when let me just go to an example, because games have a whole bunch of truth too. Okay. So, this game right here, you can like build stuff, and you have it's like humans against orcs. So, and somewhat like Lord of the Rings. And these buildings here, what you do is you get points from, gathering gold and gathering wood and all that stuff. And the more points you get, the more you can build. But then you'll get these buildings here. They look just like cathedrals, but they're labeled like energy centers. Like things that can even produce warriors. So I'm not saying that that's exactly what the La Sagrada does, but these video games and Warcraft is quite a classic. It was a well-known game in the 80s and 90s. And the more you play it, you'll realize what I'm talking about. These games have many truths in it. And I believe this building here has something to do with energy. Great energy. But I can't confirm that it's of good. I can't say that, yeah, this was here for a good purpose, because I know many of us talk about the millennial reign, and we believe that the millennial reign has passed, and some of these buildings, if not most of them, were constructed during that time. That is not hard for me to believe either. However, you have to do research. And when you're doing research, some things make you feel like, hold on, this building here, not too sure if it was built for the good. All I'm saying is, this had to be an energy center. This definitely had to be an energy center. But then I started thinking about, because if you look into this building, see, this is all, this photo's kind of funny, right? You only got a few people around the area, and then you got this building. It's almost as if this got destroyed, you know, maybe post reset, and then these people just came in out of nowhere and reconstructed it. Either that or that photo behind there is fake. It's hard to say, but it could be both ways, right? Or am I wrong? Because if you look at that, the background, it doesn't look looks kind of fake. And then, like I said, you only got one little boy in the background, and then you got these two men in black suits and, of course, black hats, and a few more children on the right-hand side, further down by the wall, the brick wall. So you can't just say this is, you know, oh yeah, it was torn down post reset and we came in, you know, the rest, the ones who came back to life, reconstructed it. It's hard to say that though, because like I said, that could be fake. See, like I said, they love to give credit to this guy. Let's go back to that image. If you guys seen Beauty and the Beast, do you remember Beauty and the Beast when the building went from dark to light? You guys remember that? The Beauty and the Beast cartoon. But yeah, this building almost looks like it. See, there's no way. I don't know, man. There's no way. They want to make us believe that the La Sagrada was torn down, was pretty much just a shell. If you read the rest of the Wikipedia, it says only the exterior was visible, was there. And then I guess, well, no, they say that man constructed the rest of it. So they're saying it went from that to this? You gotta be kidding me, right? They're saying it went from this to this. That's crazy. I'm not too sure about that, man. Not too sure about this. Yeah, see, it's like over 100 years. They're still trying to work on this, guys. Think about that. It's been over 100 years upon the reset. And they're still trying to work on this. What for? Why? It's like, why don't you guys just get rid of it? You know, get rid of it and build something more useful. Because as far as I know, this isn't the energy center anymore. There's no use for it except for the beauty of it. Oh, it looks cool. See, that's the sad thing. That's how we think. That's how we operate. When we're like, oh yeah, it looks cool, so let's go visit it, take some pictures. All this is a tourist site now. This isn't what it was for originally. And there's no way. There's no way. You telling me it looked like this? Yeah. There's no way, guys. There's no way. That's very hilarious. And then now it looks like this. You see, all these things, they put like Christian depictions at the front of the building, and there's quite a few, but it's not the same material as you would get on the original material of the building. Yeah, the thing is massive. And like I said, they're always doing construction around it. That's the inside of it. And see, this is when we get into semantics and all this crazy looking stuff. See, so they're saying man built this because it was just a shell, right? They're saying it was just a shell when they discovered it, and then they built all this. Sure they did. Sure they did. See, more Christian depictions. Look at that. You telling me they did this? Are you kidding me? You telling me they discovered the shell of this building and then they built this? That's crazy, man. This looks even crazier than the interior of the Salt Lake City Temple or any other cathedral that I've seen so far. The La Sagrada Familia is probably the most crazy looking cathedral. And by the way, that's what the video is called, the Sacred Family. Who is that Sacred Family? Well, first of all, La Sagrada Familia means the Sacred Family. Who is that family? It could be one or the other. It could be the family of Jesus Christ. It could be the body, or it could be the Freemasons. More like the secret family. There's no way. See this? All these Christian depictions, I mean, of course, they want us to believe it. They want us to believe, in my opinion, they do this so they make us believe, oh yeah, this was a church. This was a church, This was definitely a church. It was just a cathedral. Right. Just a cathedral, and then you got all these buildings that are very similar to each other surrounding it. Right. I believe this was something else. And I'm gonna keep saying it. It was definitely an energy center. Had something to do with energy. But yeah, when you look inside of the building, you start getting into all those semantics and all those weird patterns. And it reminds me of something like this. The Mandelbrot fractal patterns. There's more to this stuff than we know, guys. I feel like sometimes I wake up and I feel like when I'm researching these things, I feel like we barely even scratched the surface, guys. And I'm speaking for every single YouTube channel or every BitChute channel, every group that you could think of. I strongly feel like as much information as you think that that person or group has, they're just barely scratching the surface. They're just barely scratching the surface. Yeah, there's more to these patterns than we think. And everybody likes to say, oh, it's frequencies, it's energy, it's, you know, it's more than we think, for sure. It's more than we know. Like I said, this video game, Warcraft, has a bunch of these cathedrals, and these cathedrals are labeled energy centers, and they are capable of powering a city, a small city. This game has been out since the 80s, guys, and I remember playing this game as a child, never realizing, why would I would look at these buildings, right? See, now here's another one, and it's like some type of sorcery type of deal. That building right there that the guy is building at the right. But there's buildings for different purposes. And when they would build them, like I said, it would be labeled like some type of energy center, but it looks like a church. And I always wondered as a kid, why? That's not an energy center. That's a church. That looks like a cathedral or a Gothic type of building, But of course, when you start doing more research, nothing is for no reason. Everything is for a reason. These video games, the movies you watch, the books you read, nothing is random. And until you can realize that, then you'll start to realize the reality that you are truly in. See that? And then those buildings can produce, soldiers or just more weapons. They have a building that produces weapons specifically. So I totally understand now this game. I used to think it was just a bunch of fiction, although it is, because it's not going to be exactly the way it is, it was during those times in the millennial reign. But for the most part, a lot of these things add up on this game. See that? That's just crazy, man. There's just no way. There's no way. Let's go to some comments. Loyal Tandy says total energy. Yeah. Video games have so many truths. They definitely do. Welcome, Emma. Photoshop has been around since photography. Yeah. Was invented. So it's totally possible. Definitely. Welcome, Vanessa. Welcome, Man with No Name. Again, no alert. No alert saying you were live, even though I have all notifications on. Yeah, it happens. But welcome. And glad to be here. Yes. Hello, welcome, Derweg. Don't want to butcher your name. What did I say? Bro, I'm living in Berlin, Germany. It's really dark here and I feel alone. The greatest gift is to see that the fam is all around the world. Yeah. We the humans are energy centers too. I agree. In California and so many blind people here. It's great that we have our international brotherhood of truth. Each one of us is so important to truth. Definitely. The building may built in heaven and brought to earth. Interesting thought. Interesting. But yeah, guys. I feel like the United States is like probably, I hate to say this, but they're like the most lost. People in the United States are just lost. And they're so programmed. You know? I mean, it's common sense though. The United States is like the home of the media, you know? Home of media consumption, home of Hollywood, you know? Disney, California. Just like Loyal Tangi just said, you know? It's just a bunch of lost people, man. If anything, people in the UK and other foreign countries, in my opinion, are more aware of these truths. Unlike the people in the US. I mean, that's just my experience. That's what I feel. And just to remind you guys, for those of you who just showed up, so the dude who built this, who was at the groundbreaking, the person who actually started building this was Francisco de Paula del Villar y Lozano. But unfortunately, the man died. His death is like unknown. All it says here is that he died in 1901. That's it. And then what happened? This guy here took over. There was a new sheriff in town, Anthony Gaudí. Who's Anthony Gaudí? This guy here is a Freemason. And he takes all the credit. He takes all the credit for this building. They just had a celebration in 2020 for the 100th year anniversary of this building. And Anthony Gaudí was basically praised for, you know, his architecture. They say he's such a genius, you know. His childhood was, what does it say right here? Anthony Gaudí was born on the 25th of June, 1852 in Rouen. According to some biographers, although others claim that he was born in Riodums, a small village near Rouge, where his family spent their summers, he came from a family of boilermakers, a fact that allowed the young Gaudi to acquire a special skill for working with space and volume as he helped his father and grandfather in the family workshop. His talent for designing spaces and transforming materials grew and prospered until it eventually metamorphosed into a veritable genius for three-dimensional creation. Wow. As a child, Gaudi's health was delicate, which meant that he was obliged to spend long periods of time resting at the summer house in Riodams. There he passed many an hour contemplating and storing up in his mind the secrets of nature, which he thought of as his supreme mistress and ultimate teacher of the highest knowledge. You see that, guys? Being the crowning achievement of the Creator. As such, Antoni Gaudi found the essence and the meaning of architecture by following the very patterns of nature. You hear that, guys? Antoni Gaudi found the essence and the meaning of architecture by following the very patterns of nature. I do believe that these architectures, when it comes to these cathedrals, that's true. It has to do with the patterns of nature, energy. However, I don't believe Antoni Gaudi was the one responsible for this. You know, the fact that this guy was a Freemason, just says it all. And then, not just that, the original builder that they say was the original builder, named Francisco del Paula del Villar, died. Only 11 years after, no, 10 years. 10 years after. 10 years after the groundbreaking, the dude died. And then Mr. Antoni Gaudi came in. There's a lot wrong with this story. There is a lot wrong with what they say this man is. Every time they call a man a genius, something's wrong. Something's wrong. Just like they say, you know, they like Einstein, Benjamin Franklin, all these guys they call geniuses. You know, Isaac Newton. All these guys, all Freemasons, man. If you don't know that by now, do some research. Help yourself. Yeah, the dude was a Freemason, and they say he was a professing Christian. They say he was so passionate about the church, right? He was so passionate about the church that he went ahead and built the La Sagrada Familia, which means, again, the sacred family, right? The sacred family. I don't know, guys. I don't know. There's a lot wrong with this story. And the fact that they're still trying to renovate it, and it's been over 100 years, and they're still renovating it, what in the world? Just give up. Give up already. Unless you guys have some kind of, you know, narrative that you're trying to push or agenda. Well, yeah, see? They got these Christian depictions all over the building. But these are all facades. These were all built here after after they supposedly, discovered it, when it was just a shell, right? When it looked like, one second, when it looked like this. So they're saying it went from this. So they discovered, so they discovered it. And then they built this. They built from here. And then they got this. It's just crazy. People in the US are lost because of celebrity worship. Yes, definitely. Sports figures, rappers, television, movie stars. Yep. Wales is the same. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's pretty sad. Full of lost souls. Saw an interview with a Shriner which is a 33 or higher Freemason, I believe. He said his god is Lucifer and was proud of it. 33 is the highest. Life Jesus was 33-year-old when he died. Yeah. And they love to invert things, right? It's crazy how the enemy tries to... They just love to take what's good and just ruin it. Or try and even mimic it. That's what Satan likes to do. He likes to look at what's good and then mimic it. And then sway people in the other direction. Right under their nose. But yeah, guys. What do you guys think? What do you guys think this is? Three is the highest. Life with Jesus. Okay. Yep. If you guys know more about this guy Francisco, please let me know. All I know is that, well, we know now that Anthony Gaudí, the guy they give all the praise to, that guy is a Freemason. The guy they give all the credit to. But appreciate you guys all watching, taking in all that information. It was quite a bit. Dentist is a 33 Mason and was trying to get me to come to a requirement dinner. He was relentless for 3 months. I refused and got... That's good. That's good, bro. But yeah, guys. Appreciate you guys all coming, joining the live stream. I know my live streams are like off at different times, randomly. But it may seem random, but it's not. It's when I feel prompted. It's when I feel like it's best for me to go live. I don't really have a schedule. But yeah. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if it matters, the notification button. And as always, you guys be safe out there. Be blessed. Until next time.
You say one word, I say amazing. Yeah. You say one word, I say amazing.